Please give a warm St. John welcome to your fantastic special guest tonight, the one, the only, the amazing Mr. Cory Hartlen!
St. John, you're gorgeous. You've got dressed and everything. You left your house. That's a challenge these days, just leaving the house. Anybody got the wife and kids or husband and kids at home? Oh, I never leave the house. Why would I? I do this just to get away from them. And of course, I'm really excited to be at the St. John Theatre Company because me and James met at this exact spot 9 years ago. His very first show in St. John, I got to open up for him, and we've been fast friends ever since. So please give a warm welcome for James Mullinger, who's going to be your amazing headliner later. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just read his script and do his set, and then he can do mine. That would be fun, eh? That'd be a good time. Should make him very angry at me. My name is Cory Hartlen. I am born and bred from the Miramichi. You have to enunciate the and. It's an inbred joke. That was, I didn't know. Does anybody sing on? But it happens, right? St. John, you guys know the same. Like when you're in St. John and you go to your friends' houses and they introduce you to your family members, they have ancestors. See, but in the Miramichi, you get 20 minutes outside of town and they introduce you to their family, they have ancestors. So your family tree's a wreath. Hanging on the front door for the holidays. Just have some fun is all I'm saying, St. John. There's no reason to get upset because somebody peed in your gene pool. You know what I mean? Growing up in the Miramichi was a pile of fun. Any Miramichiers in the room? Oh, one. Okay, two of us. That's good. That's good. That's good. It's good that there's a few of us here. There's a good few of us here. But growing up in the Miramichi was weird, right? It was a little different up home. Like Miramichi was a boom town. It was everything that St. John is now in the late 70s. Hey, we had the CFB Chatham, had a 4-mile runway. It was one of the only runways in the eastern seaboard that could support emergency landing from the space shuttle and the Concorde. The only way those planes would ever land in the Miramichi is if something terrible went wrong. I know that much. And of course, then we had the pulp and paper industry and the hardwood lumber and the fisheries. And by the late 80s, they were all gone. They were all gone. It's now a retirement village. It's very lovely this time of year. Hey? But then, of course, that was, remember 1989 when Alan Legier was on his Hack and Slash tour, 89? That was terrible business, eh? It was a rough year for the province. Like, that was terrible. Even worse when you're from the Miramichi. Like, when Halloween is on a Saturday from 2 to 4, you've screwed up somewhere along the way. Like, that's not... And I was like 13 at the time. It was like the last Halloween I was going to have, and it's really hard to toilet paper your teacher's house in the middle of a Saturday afternoon. You know what I mean, St. John? Really hard to toilet paper a tree and egg someone's house. You know, it was a little rough. People could see you. It was hard. But then, of course, that was the same year that Canada started announcing all of its national rates of heart disease and cancer. And Miramichi was number one. We're number one. It's not the medal you want to get, St. John. It's not the medal you want to get in number one. And, of course, so Miramichiers were freaking out and losing their minds, and they thought it was the dome tar chemical plant. And the water was poisoning the Miramichiers and causing all these high rates of cancer and heart disease. And they tested the water like 4 times. The water was fine. Then they started putting Miramichiers on the scales. Miramichi didn't have a water problem. Miramichi had a fork problem. That's a rough... And on the same summer that Alan Legier's on Hack and Slash to 89, like that was a really bad tourism year in the Miramichi. Like how bad is your tourism year when you get into the city and you buy the promotional t-shirt that summer and you get little Timmy, right, little Sally, the little promotional vacation t-shirt, and it simply says, "Welcome to the Miramichi. If the fish and chips don't kill you, somebody might." That's a rough tourism year right there. I don't care who you are. Of course, I guess if I was to introduce myself, I guess I would say that my name is Cory Hartlen. I'm a dyslexic, 42-year-old, happily married most days, father of 2 with ADD, IBS, and high-functioning anxiety. Most days are a real pain in the tub. It's an IBS dyslexic joke. Very niche in the comedy world to break out the ADD dyslexic jokes right from the top. That's a good time. I don't care who you are. I guess another crazy fun fact about having the ADD. Do any of my ADD friends come out tonight? Give them a few minutes. They'll be with us. They'll catch up. It's good. But like when you have ADD, like you look at the world just a little bit differently and your brain works a little bit differently. Like every morning when I wake up, there's a song in my head that I know is going to be with me for 6 or 7 hours that day. In many days, I don't get to choose the song, right? Today was fine. A little Foo Fighters in my head, Dave Grohl, I could handle it. The Sky is a Neighborhood, I loved it. It was fantastic. Last Friday, not so fantastic, St. John. Because for 6 hours, all I had in my head, till about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, you're not Rain Man either, right? Like, you don't remember every word to every song. I'm like you just remember, the first verse, the chorus, part of the second verse, and then you're back to the chorus. So Friday, for 6.5 hours, all I could hear till about 3:30 in the afternoon was C is for Cookie by Cookie Monster. Good Lord. By about 3:20, all I could do was scream into the floor, C is not good enough for me, Cookie! You're glad I didn't scream that into the microphone. But I think having the dyslexia is the worst. I call ADD my shitty superpower. Dyslexia, not so much. Any of my dyslexic friends here tonight? You good. You'll catch up too. But that's the crazy thing is that acronyms are literally your kryptonite. So in your work, I'm sure you have a lot of acronyms like I have. I am in the technology space, sales and marketing. I sell software, market software. So I'm sure if I used the acronym OOO. Anybody? Out of office, exactly. Because when you work for American software companies, you can't use words like vacation. It gives people fucking hope. You gotta put your OOO on. And then do you have this one? Do you have PTO? It's paid time off, right? You gotta, when you take a little PTO, you gotta turn on your OOO, right? To let people know that you're taking some PTO. So sure enough, the long New Brunswick Day weekend, I was set, man. Friday afternoon, I was ready to go. Me and the family and another couple and their kids going to St. Andrews by the sea. God love it. Right, and you get down in St. Andrews and you check into your cabin and you're kilometers away from the nearest Wi-Fi in heaven. And sure enough, your friend Sandeep calls. Sandeep, what's going on? Why are you calling me on the Friday of a long weekend at 5 o'clock? He said, have you seen your OOO? I said, no, Sandeep, why? What did I say in it? He said, well, you've let everybody know who emailed you today that you're going to be enjoying the long New Brunswick Day weekend and you're going to be spending it in St. Andrews by the sea and enjoy some of your hard-earned POT. It wasn't October 17th yet, St. John. This was many years ago. And probably wasn't that far from the truth, but not everybody that emailed me that day had to know about it. Good heavens, terrifying. And then, of course, this year I turned 42. Any men over 40 in the room? I see a few of you. You don't have to clap. Because I know you're over 40 and you just won't. But don't you wish like your dad would have sat you down? Maybe a couple of his buddies would have let you know what happened to the male body after 40. Wouldn't that have been helpful, sir? Exactly, right? What happens to the body hair? I don't get what happened. Like you turned 35. Remember when you used to have that one little patch, right? That one little patch that you affectionately called Pangea, hey? And then you get past 35, and now the hair moves around your body like the fucking tectonic plates of the earth. I don't understand. Hair masses break off and migrate south and wrap around your love handle, eh? There's a moment your wife catches you plucking a white hair out of your love handle. That's glorious. And then two other hair masses break off Pangea and start migrating north and then rest in the middle of your back. I don't know how they got there, but now my goodie trail starts here and ends here. I don't know. It now circumnavigates my body. Terrible. The only one good benefit is that now when I do my annual manscaping, I now lose a significant amount of weight. So that's good. Looks like something terrible happened to a panda in the bathroom, but I don't know. It's all half white and gray. Some of it doesn't even look like a color anymore. It's just translucent. I don't know who came up with that. Unholy horse shit. But then, of course, your body starts to react like I slipped in an airport last year. 30-year-old me would never have felt it. 42-year-old me had physio for 8 weeks. Poor Hannah. My poor physiotherapist. She did not see me on the pamphlet when she applied to school. She did not see me on the pamphlet. Of course, you get in, I pulled my hamstring, the top of my hamstring. Poor Hannah. Then you walk in, Hannah's all 24 years old, about 2 years on the job, and looks like a yoga instructor. She did not see me on the pamphlet. So sure enough, you have to sit down, they have to assess you, right? Hannah's got to assess you, figure out what you did to yourself so she could figure out how she's going to try to fix you. The only thing I could say is at least they tried to fix it. Usually that's just your bad hip now. So they tried to fix it. And then you get in and Hannah pulls and stretches and pulls you and says, okay, we're going to do this thing. Go, okay, we're going to do what? So we're going to do 2 types of therapy. For the next 8 weeks, 3 times a week, I'm going to bring you in. And for the first 12 to 15 minutes, we're going to do some deep heat ultrasound. We're going to follow it up with a little bit of the electro-stimulation therapy. Anybody have that? Oh, good times, eh? Isn't that fun? And once again, where does the hamstring end? Right there. And once again, Pangea made it there too, right? So then you get to sit down with Hannah, and Hannah gets to give you half of a wedgie. That's, once again, high-functioning anxiety. I like to ask strange questions in inappropriate times. So we've had 2 kids, my wife and I, so I know what ultrasound is. I know she's going to put some gel on my butt and lube it up and start using the wand. Hey, looks a lot like a microphone. So here's Hannah doing her business. And I'm asking questions like, do you have a boyfriend? Is his that hairy? Is it normal? Doesn't look right. But then Hannah was one of those people where if you talked to her, you asked a question, she would have to stop and think about the response. She would stop moving the wand. Do you know what happens when you stop moving the wand? Looks like somebody went at you with a cigarette lighter is what happens. Is that what? I look like an extra from Pulp Fiction, for Christ's sake. I was terrible. Go home and try to explain my wife what the poor physiotherapist did to me. And then we get to go to the electrostimulation, eh? But now she's got to get those sucker pads to stick. Pangea, once again. So now she's going to shave part of my left ass cheek to get the things on. And then she's going to stick them on, and then she gets to talk about the sensation of the electrostimulation on my left butt cheek. And we get to talk about it for a while. And the pressure's good, hey? And it starts out. You're like, okay, that's not bad, hey? I can deal with that. And then about 30 seconds later, I'm full twerk. Like that left butt cheek is full twerk. Nicki Minaj would have been jealous of what was going on. And then 8 weeks, 3 times a week. Oh, poor Hannah. I saw her this summer. She's doing very well. She enjoys her new job at the call center. Terrible. Horrible stuff, St. John. Like I said, I am from the Miramichi. Anybody have a mother who does Christmas just a little bit extra? Hey, or maybe that mother that by the time you cross your 20s, she tries to become your best friend. Starts to talk to you like an adult, but you never asked for that shit. Hey? Like I remember when my mom, me and my wife decided as a couple that we were going to try to have children. We weren't even pregnant yet. I thought it was wise to let my parents know. They were down for a weekend, the wine was flowing, and I decided I'd let it slip that yes, my wife and I were going to try to have children. My mother simply looked at my wife and went, "You'll get pregnant easy. He's hung like his father." The amount of ooh that I had to unpack. It's the weirdest onion ever, the layers of ooh that came out of that. One was like, where was she 10 years ago? She could have been a great wingman. 2, you changed my diapers. You know that's a lie. Like, what the hell is going? We're already married. The jig is up. You don't have to lie to my poor wife. But of course, the best was the Christmas that I took my wife to the Miramichi before we went to Cuba and did our destination wedding. And my wife, God love her, she was ready to come to the Miramichi and spend Christmas with my family. And of course, Mom was hyping it up for weeks about this amazing care package that my wife had put together for my wife-to-be. And then you get to the Miramichi for the holidays, and everyone's around the tree. Does your mom do like the TSN play-by-play? Because she knows what everything is. And she tells you just before the thing comes out of the box, right? And then, of course, Mom was hyping this 3-gift care package that was going to be amazing for the destination wedding. We're going to Cuba. It's going to be awesome. And then you sit down and that first gift comes. Hey, And my wife sits down and undoes the bow and carefully takes the tape off and unwraps the present. And just as the lid's ready to pop up, there's my mom going, I got you a nightie. You're going to need a nightie. It's a destination wedding. We're going to Cuba. Hey, and then my wife pulls this thing out of this box that even Tarzan would look at it and go, where does the cock go? I don't. It was so sheer. It was so sheer. I don't even know how they stitched it together. Like, I don't even know where the seams were on this thing. So, Mom, that's not quite a nightie. I don't even know if that's lingerie, for heaven's sakes. Well, I'll give her the second gift. Here's the second gift. Destination wedding, Cuba. Hey, same thing. My wife carefully takes the ribbon, the wrapping paper, and folds it up. Just as the lid's about ready to pop up, there's my mother again. TSN play-by-play. I got you some scented massage oil. You're going to be on the plane so much, you're going to need a lovely massage. It's your wedding, honeymoon, woo. And you know when people take that gift out of the box and then they pass it around the room and you know the looks on their faces tell you a story that your mom's a liar. And that is not what my mother bought. And then it finally makes your way through your sea of aunts and uncles, family members and grandparents, and then you finally get it. And you realize why all those faces were looking so sour. This wasn't so much scented massage oil as it was flavored lube. That she tried so hard, so close yet so far, St. John, you know what I mean? Good Lord. All I can hear Dad in the background goes, is there a third gift? We got her 3, right? You got her 3? So there comes the third gift, eh? Oh, the pierre de la resistance, as it were. Same thing, my wife's delicately unwrapping bows and ribbons and taking tape off and folding the packing paper. And just as the box is about to spring open, I got you a massager! You're gonna be on the plane so much, you're gonna need a neck massager! Don't get ahead of me, St. John. Did you guys get that gift too? Is your mother sick and twisted as mine? So sure enough, there's my wife in front of my family having to take this thing out of a box. Now I know the manufacturer that made said device may have said it could have been used on a neck. It's been at my house for over 11 years and hasn't seen one yet. I know it's purple, takes C batteries, and intimidates the shit out of me every time I see it. St. John, are you ready for your headliner? Are you warmed up?